My name is Valerie Gabriel, and right now you are at my farm in Kanesatake on Gabriel Road. So the type of agriculture I do is really based on what grows best here. I always like to work with the land, and here what grows really well is basically all the vegetables and weeds. So I work with both, or medicines. And I started this farm when I was 21 years old, and I'm 36 now. So it's been, 14, 15 years. So this greenhouse went up 15 years ago. And really, I prefer farming outside rather than in a greenhouse, but the shell has always provided us a place to be outside of the harder elements when it's springtime. And it allows me to start the seeds a little bit earlier and to also do some seed saving. Whereas if I was outside, maybe the plants wouldn't survive as well. So seed saving is also something I like to do. So I started thinking about having my own farm when I was in environmental wildlife management at Valerie College. And the courses that I was taking was really about learning how to manage the land. And a lot of the people that I was with, they really did care for the environment. A lot of the teachers were really good, but it was training me to be a technician for environmental and wildlife management. So management means that as a technician, I am able to get a job in helping any business interact with the land. And other things too, it's basically limitless what that program can do for you, especially in today's world where environment is at the forefront. But agriculture wasn't one of the courses that I did. Agriculture came from my family line, and both my father and mother's families were in agriculture, just culturally speaking. Back in the day, everybody was in agriculture. It wasn't a generation removed for me. It was always been intact. So when I finally decided that I felt why am I gonna go into industry that they're gonna deteriorate the land and I'm just gonna be there to study it. And at that time, I had so much energy, I had so much passion, I had so much frustration with the world because nothing was happening in terms of what I grew up learning. We have to respect the land, we have to work with it rather than just kind of push it away. And so agriculture was a way, where I could dream, and I had conversations with my friend at the time, and it was well, we're just gonna grow crops that we don't have to use plastic, we don't have to overwater, we don't have to tend to like babies. We can just, everybody's gonna love it because it's gonna be the corn, beans, and squash. Everybody's gonna love it. And then what I came to learn was not a lot of people really were looking for those crops. Didn't know how to cook with those crops. Didn't know that it took so long to grow those crops. And instead of me being able to make a living on those crops, I just basically broke even. And what I mean by break even is that I had all of my family support, not being paid. They were helping me because that's a family thing. And it was, at the time, it was a CSA basket program, which is a community supported agricultural program where people pay up front. At the time, 15 years ago, it was $450 in the spring, and it would ensure that they get up to 4 months worth of weekly vegetable baskets. So think of, whatever was seasonal, So in the springtime, it was more about leafy greens. And then in the midsummer, it was your tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, broccolis. And then into the fall, it was basically your squashes, your onions, your garlic, and root crops, so beets, carrots, anything. And it went all the way up almost till the end of October. Okay, so when I was doing that, we were always looking for a deal. So greenhouse was a thing that I thought I needed to have to be able to be an agricultural business, to make it seem to make sense. And really what it did was it helped us just get the seed started a little bit earlier, but it gave me a lot more headaches. And at the time, I remember having no money. And so what you have to do when you get started in agriculture is make a lot of friends and or volunteer or go do a training somewhere. I was like basically a student at a farm getting paid like $800 a month, which is not a lot. It's very minimal. And I did that for a few months from March until August. So realistically, growing food doesn't really make money. And in the industrialized food world, it is supplemented by the government. So that's not a conversation that we have often, but the most honorable job you can have is being a farmer. Again, back in the day when I started farming, these were all things that I was thinking about. So 15 years ago, these were all seeded ideas in my head, and it took a long time to work out, like, how was I actually going to keep farming going? I went into the environmental field, which my program had helped me have knowledge about. And then I started working for government, so the local band council. I had to hit the issues here head on, which was issues about like industrial soil dumping and all those things. So being a farmer and then working on the side environmental projects for creating a soil testing program for heavy metals and working with a local university. Basically, I understood the importance of sticking it through with agriculture, and that it is a solution to helping environmental issues that we're facing today. The more people are allowed to be connected to the land, the more awareness people have about their connection to food, and that is a thing that gives our people power again. So that has been my journey. Whether or not I thought I was going to be able to make a business on agriculture, it was always on the side. So what I would recommend, that if people are looking to get started in agriculture, that they really connect to the passion that they have. And maybe it's not growing vegetables, maybe it's actually just supporting the medicines. Maybe it's actually just trying to understand how plants work together more. And it's not specifically like, well, how much can I grow today? How much can I grow this year? I'm gonna make it super competitive. Meanwhile, everything else is suffering in your life, whether it's your family, because you're not there all the time, you're not including your family, and you're actually going bankrupt. So these are like really important topics to think about when you're doing that. You mentioned stressing out about the weeds, which is a really big deterrent in getting people to actually continue like through the season. That a lot of the weeds, number one, are edible. Number two, they can be taken, thrown into water, and made into a tea, and that feeds right back into your soil. And you don't have to go buy things. So then you think you need money to go buy things, but really you just have to work with the weeds. Mm-hmm. So there are all kinds of answers. You just need to have like a mind that is able to not see barriers between you and the soil, or you and the crop, or the medicine that you're trying to support. Bringing it back to agriculture, that's it's like a rebranding of the mind, to see it as we are supported by food, we are supported by plants if we choose to support it back.